works. Record to the cloud is hit or miss.
Yes, that
And that is
continue.
why on some of the initial, that's why I wanted to live stream this to YouTube every single week, because if I live stream it to YouTube every single week, I know we got a recording. Zoom is hit or miss. It's a love-hate relationship with Zoom, but I know because when I talk to podcasters or people record it, I ask people how they're recording their content. They're like, "Oh, I go into Zoom and I hit record to this computer." And you know how often it doesn't really work? And it's like, yes, this is why it's nice to have the backup stream with Restream going to YouTube. So it's nice to record to your computer with Zoom and also live stream through Restream to YouTube. So YouTube has a copy. Because what do I always say as a computer guy? Where's your backups? We always want like three copies of everything just in case one fails. And I'm being failed today, but that is perfectly fine. So anyway,
Well, I think it's actually working on my side having a record, so we'll have at
that's
least
okay. That's okay. So I haven't got on camera yet because I'm fiddling with the restream settings to hoping. I've been in Restream for 45 minutes right now and just nothing's working. So, I've got the website up right now just to remind everybody that we are running the webinar on starting April 1st.
Do you want to
Regard,
show us? We can't see it.
it's
We
not
can only see
on?
your Zoom. We only see Zoom unable to live stream. That's what we see.
Oh, okay. Well, it should have been the.
I can see the tab. It's a second tab, but we're not
That
looking
was
at it right
weird
now.
because I chose that tab specifically.
I saw it flash earlier.
Like
There
that.
we go. There, yeah, that's we
Oh,
can see.
so it's showing my whole Chrome browser rather than the specific tab that I chose specifically. Okay. See,
I'm gonna say I was even having problems going on to Zoom this morning. It did not like the link, and I was having problems. So, Lucy, I agree. It's a love-hate relationship with, I'm gonna just say, with technology overall. I'm gonna.
so anyway, there's a link for the webinar right there, and it's just going, the webinar is just going to go into more detail about our structured. Of course, this is a Saturday class. This is the free one where we're just going over, Ask Me Anything. Any questions you have about your YouTube experience in the past week, you upload, making videos, writing your scripts, thumbnail questions, whatever type of questions that you have, answer them in this class. Starting April 6th, we're running a 2 month YouTube showing you our YouTube visibility engine where we are showing you how to specifically make your YouTube attract your ideal client, your ideal audience by making your YouTube channel look good on both mobile, tablet, computer screen, and 100-inch TVs people have in their house because I see a lot of the time, many times YouTube channels aren't really visually nice to look on all screens. And then also by the end of the 8 weeks, confirming, helping, assisting you that you have 30 pieces of content ready to go. 30 pieces of content, of course, would be over half a year of content ready to be scheduled out on a drip campaign. So that is what we're covering in the webinar starting April 1st. You can sign up for the webinar here on IamYouTubeFamous.com. So anyway, Julie, do we have any questions in the chat yet? I'm going to give this restream one last time. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so of course if I go play with I'm gonna stop sharing because you don't need to see me frustrated with the Zoom. I'm in the Zoom website erasing the custom settings and then but I'm anyway.
Yeah.
See how
Well,
my
there wasn't.
face
I
looks on.
realized I talked without putting back my audio. I was just gonna say Lucy just said she had a love-hate relationship with Zoom, and Austin was agreeing with David having issues with Zoom and restreaming
It
it.
doesn't surprise me because we were on um I think we had Shit, did we totally skipped that meeting yesterday with YouTube.
Oh, we totally we did. We totally missed it. Thanks for reminding us now, Mike.
So I don't even know what the okay.
We started traveling right around the time it would have been live, and then we immediately got a flat tire, which then was a bolt that came out of the um whatever part, which we wonder if that's what
Yeah,
punctured.
yeah, yeah. We snapped a bolt in our suspension which popped one of our tires. Anyway, so I got backup
Oh,
tires, backup bolts, and good attitude.
Austin, it is not an April Fool's joke. He's wondering if our webinar will be an April Fool's joke.
No, that's why the
Oh,
webinar is both
maybe Zoom
April
will be
1st
an
and
April.
2nd, but you know what? It's just going to be recorded and slapped up as a video on our website anyway.
Mike, it might be April Fool's that you think you can just record it and we don't have to do it live. Like, I'm just saying, it may just play a trick on us.
Well, no,
Uh,
I just like to share, I just liked to show YouTube I'm adding one new video per week to that one particular YouTube channel, right? So anyway, I guess we met, so, but there was the one YouTube training we went to this week, and it was literally about live streaming, which is hilarious because it works so well to other from it was so the software we've been using that relatively works 99% of the time is called the Restream, but it's not the only um when you're trying to do stuff when you're trying to broadcast from a computer with uh, to when you're trying to broadcast live to YouTube from a computer using multiple cameras or a camera other than your webcam, and you want to do like a live sporting event or a concert or something, and you're trying to have lower thirds. A lower third means you have words or when you're trying to do words or graphics or multiple, do have a fancier live stream than just like your webcam. You'd be using something called encoding software. So this is what we've been using Restream, but there's a bunch of different softwares that will allow you to use multiple cameras and do fancier stuff. And YouTube is just walking us through tech issues that people have and um, just showing us behind the scenes of how they produce streams, whether it's streams from the YouTube office or Coachella or the Grammys, or any of them, anywhere as YouTube sends their professional camera people, and they're doing cool stuff on camera. They're using a computer, they're using encoder software or what I would call as broadcast software. They're using multiple cameras. So it was kind of like it was a Q&A where people were just sharing their experiences and asking why they should use something like that. So, for in our example, the last couple of weeks, when I'm coaching people on building their YouTube content and making it e relatively easy, especially when you have like multiple people on a Zoom. You want to have multiple people on camera. Um, how do you do that? Well, typically you would use Zoom, but Zoom doesn't really like connecting to YouTube directly or any or more than one platform directly. So you would use an in-between software called an encoder software to go from Zoom to multiple platforms. So, but there's multiple different ways to do it. Uh, and they all come with some do not have easy to use interfaces. And I like easy because I need to train the end user on easy. And I don't want to talk too much
And what
about.
have you taught today? It's still not even easy when you're
No, no,
using
no.
this
Well,
end.
just, but that's just what Restream. There is StreamYard, which a lot of people view. Ha, but I was on a podcast yesterday morning, and he was using Stream Sifu, who I'm going to be speaking on speaking at his event in May about YouTube University. He uses StreamYard, and I hate StreamYard. So, but he had more success with StreamYard yesterday than I'm having with Restream today. So there's multiple different ways to host a podcast with multiple people, have it on Zoom, or have it on one of these encoding softwares. The one we did yesterday wasn't on Zoom, and he had probably, I don't know how many of us were in the room, seven or eight, and he was able to. The nice thing with the nice thing with the StreamYard that we used yesterday is that myself as a guest, if you saw my Facebook yesterday, I was rest as soon as I logged into the broadcast software StreamYard yesterday, I was able to connect it to my Facebook and my YouTube. So while he was hosting the meeting and streaming to his platforms, I was also able to restream that podcast to my platforms. So that's the benefit of using encoding software is we're able to stream it to multiple platforms at the same time. You can have so it's just, there's cool things you can do to build up the content on your YouTube channel as long as you're okay with using technology and not, willing to give over any of the frustrations that it's going to cause you because obviously right now we're not streaming and I wanted to, but that's just how technology goes. We don't want YouTube to be frustrating. And I know that sometimes it seems like a big hurdle where you're like, hey, I have to you know, go in, upload content, or go live stream. You can obviously always live stream from your mobile device, but you'll notice that there is um, less things you can do with it. Sometimes the quality's not as good as you want. Sometimes there is performance issues if you don't have a good cellular or good Wi-Fi connection. And that's what we've demonstrated over the last year of YouTube University. This is today's week 44, so we're almost through the first year, and we're just documenting how we've been building our content up on our channels, and then the frustrations that we run into because my wife can schedule live streams from her phone and go live and then figure out there's no audio. And that's why we have a production checklist. That's why we've been building a production checklist for our students. We're like, hey, you think it's as easy as clicking live and go live, but it's really reboot your phone, make sure your phone's been rebooted, make sure the YouTube app's up to date, make sure you've got a good internet connection, and they're like, it's just like, that's why there's the production checklist, all these gotchas that they may not affect you today, but you're going to build up your confidence and like, hey, I don't have any problems. Going live's easy. I'm happy it's easy. And then all of a sudden, tech issue, tech issue, tech issue, tech issue, and this is why we could come up with the production checklist. We're like, hey, make sure everything's been updated, rebooted, good internet. If you're using wireless mics or whatever, make sure they got a battery charge because I've seen lives where people are good halfway through, then the microphone goes dead, and I'm like, oh no, they were having such a good live, and then audio cuts out, and then you can see their panic set in on their face because their face goes flush, and chat goes crazy because there's no audio, and then people are complaining about the audio, and you're like, yes, I can tell there's no audio. And then if you got a big live audience and you get like 100 messages saying no audio, no audio, no audio, it could stress you out. We don't want you to be stressed out, but sometimes things aren't as perfect as they seem. So anyway, does anybody have how? Let's see. 10,
I'm just
let's
saying everything is not working well because I am attempting to repost the link on I'll call it Crackbook, and I was doing it on my own, and I cannot get the background to stay. So get a colored background. It is dropping it. It does not like it, but it looks good on the YouTube University, but I can't even share it from there. So I'm just gonna say it's a good technology.
I didn't think you could put links on posts.
Oh no, I don't have a link. I literally went and just put good morning, week
Oh,
44 of YouTube University is live, link and comments. All I put in the post, I haven't even commented on the post, and it will not keep the background color. It literally makes it look like just white with words. Yeah, so it's working well. and that is on Facebook's end. So, I'm going to say there's lots of glitches in technology, and I have seen a
Well,
lot recently since everything started happening in I'm going to call it the Hormozy stream, because I say it wrong
it's
every
Hor
time.
the Hor straight at Hormuz.
A Hormozy stream, whatever. That
No, yeah,
ever
that's just because I've had
then,
you using Hormozy's money
it's like
models
every
book.
time I see it, that's all I see. And I'm saying things have not worked well, and technology feels a
Well,
little stupider than
it's
normal.
no, it's true. So, we've noticed a lot. We've noticed stuff on the back end on YouTube, like because we have monetized accounts. There's links to That's what I made a checklist this week. I should put the redacted version in the Facebook group just so you have an idea of how many different ways you can um, realize return on investment on your YouTube channel before and after you're officially monetized. But after you get monetized, YouTube allows you to link either your existing Shopify store to your YouTube channel, or they have their own store called Fourth Wall where you can go and create custom swag and then connect that to your YouTube channel and then highlight stuff in your store. And um, that like broke this week because
Yeah. So
the,
you
the,
can
the
still
store's there.
link the store, but it's not linked to YouTube anymore.
And we checked all of our accounts and we're like, somebody, you know, the minute, like literally within 10 minutes of us noticing the store link was broken between Fourth Wall and YouTube, we got an email from Fourth Wall saying, "Hey, we made a whole bunch of new changes." And I'm like, "Yeah, you broke it." So it's just interesting to do our own tech support, produce this class, play with YouTube, be in the YouTube backend every single day, and then notice what works well, and then notice what doesn't work well. Because I think Julie, you mentioned that your shorts seem to be getting more traction.
I'm gonna say there is no rhyme or reason because sometimes I get a lot of traction, sometimes I don't, and sometimes my long will get more traction than others. And then that lady that I called out for being a Nazi said some nasty things on my page and on Facebook.
That's what Facebook's for. It's just for our engagement and agitating people. This is why you should just focus on attracting your ideal client using YouTube. That's what we're gonna That's what we've been teaching the whole time, but that's what we've built into our visibility engine is literally make the YouTube look nice. Um, Build your client, ideal client journey, give them instructions via playlists and naming your videos appropriately. But as soon as you make that YouTube content, repurpose it everywhere. So go add it to your Google My Business listing, go and put your content everywhere. So start with YouTube first and repurpose it everywhere, and then just don't even worry about the noise on the other platforms because we're focused on building an enjoyable YouTube journey for your ideal clients and that audience. And yes, you may already have existing audience on the other platforms, but they're um just more it's just noise. I tell my wife, I tell anybody who's trying to um YouTube really only expects one piece of content per week. Yes, ideally we want to get you trained up and consistent to do more than one piece of content on YouTube. And I brought this up with somebody. I was hanging out in Dallas with a podcaster and he's like, I really want to understand this, the YouTube push. And I'm like, look, once you build up your subscribe, like as soon as you have one subscriber on YouTube and they've subscribed, every time you upload a new video or go live, YouTube sends them. an email because you're a subscriber. And it's like, hey, there's new content. So that's literally YouTube sending out a drip campaign. They're literally telling your audience you've got new content. Is Facebook doing that for you? Is LinkedIn doing that for you? You might get app notifications over there, but YouTube is literally sending you an email saying there's new content. You should be leveraging that. And then the light bulb went off, and he's like, okay, so even if I'm not consistent on sending out an email newsletter, if I'm doing a live every once a week or multiple times a week, and I'm like, yes, same, remember, broadcast, radio, and TV, same time, same day of the week. So if you get consistent with that, YouTube's consistent, they send out an email saying you're live. Like you're just nudging your audience every single time that you got new content. You're building rapport with that content. They're only going to like realistically, I think in the YouTube world, they're only going to subscribe if they really enjoy your content, know, like, and trust you. Um, Everywhere else, they're kind of like you're forcing people to be your friend. I don't think I'm forcing anybody to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm literally, if people are asking me questions about my books or my tech support questions or requesting a new tech support video, they're literally, it's because I've sent them to my YouTube channel and they're doing that two-way interaction with me via commenting on my stuff over there, right? So, am I missing anything in the chat yet? No. Okay. Does anybody have any questions yet today? Has anybody? I saw Austin earlier this week on a Zoom call, and I mentioned he had been working on the thumbnails on the New Beginnings page. So, what software did you end up using to make your thumbnails, Austin? Yeah, thumbnails. Like my words, I don't know if I'm saying the right word today. Maybe I don't. Okay, well, we'll just see if he pops on here and tells us what he did. But I thought they were very good looking, so I was happy to see that they were adding thumbnails. Um, I just lost my train of thought. So this is what happens when you go live sometimes. And I'm not exhausted from spending hours on the side of the highway yesterday, swapping out the suspension and the tires. So anyway, my brain just went empty. So you can fill in, Julie. I was like, I just lost my train of thought. I was hoping
Oh,
maybe post.
okay. Well, don't worry. I'm just commenting to the person that was being mean to me
Oh,
on
so you're
Facebook.
distracted.
I was distracted. But okay, I will tell you about it was interesting because we watched a video on people's watch times, okay? So it's interesting because obviously a lot of creators have come back to YouTube complaining about their watch times. And they're literally going, "Well, did you change too much on your YouTube? Is your content no longer really interesting for other people?" It was kind of an interesting, really, it wasn't a very long video, but it's kind of interesting because it really gave me the idea that most people are not using YouTube the way we're going to be promoting it. The way we're using YouTube is not the way the majority of content creators are using it. We're using it as a way to push your business to be seen, right? And when you come from the way, like the return on investments and looking from the perspective of, okay, these are all mini commercials. So whether I'm making my live, right, or maybe my long content, and then maybe I'm doing shorts from it, it's all a way to promote myself through my business, which then back ends to Google because Google and YouTube are best buddies. So they're going to back end to that. And then you start building in whether you're going to put it on Rumble, Substack, Telegram, I don't even know, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you're going to put your content, well, then you throw it out from there. And I really seeing how the majority of content creators are working. They're not doing that. They're not promoting a business. They're not promoting themselves in that way, unless there may be influencer maybe, then they've got some branding, but the majority aren't using it or promote, and YouTube's also not really promoting it as a way to really get seen in your business as an alternative to going and spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on commercials and stuff like that. Because commercials and stuff for sure, advertising that can definitely work, but you really want to, for most of us, you've either got more time or money. And I'm going to say for majority of us now, we've got a little bit more time than we have money. So being able to start putting ourselves out there to be seen, to start showing up in the algorithms, especially on the YouTube platform, is extremely powerful because the return on investment, especially when you're promoting your business and yourself, will pay off because that's how you're going to find people. And you'll find, if you really put it in perspective, the more consistent you are, even finding one extra client with just putting videos every month is huge for most people, right? So it's what your value is for one client, putting it up each week. Maybe you get one extra client, one extra person reaching out after, if you just did one, you've got 12 new clients in a year. You're going to get more than that. You definitely will, especially if you're consistent. So it's just this interesting thing on how we've seen YouTube benefit us and our businesses to be found versus what the majority of people, because a lot of people will go, well, I've done YouTube, but or I know people, they haven't been successful. Well, what are you rating your success on? If you are rating that you're going to get 1 million subs like this guy and his freaking annoying ad I see on YouTube, we promote you to get 1 million subs. Are these real people? Are they bot farms? Like Kristen brought up last week, right? Like knowing that this person has all these subs supposedly, but how many are even really real? And if you're running a business, you want real people actually seeing your content. You want real people that are going to follow you and start to build that trust because we don't have an easy way to build trust with anybody anymore. Because maybe being local, you might, right? If you have a storefront, you might be able to still kind of build some trust locally, but you are going to max out. Is all I can think of. Was it Hormozy's video? Hormozy having this one open forum, and it was like a little restaurant in a community that had like 40 or 50 people.
Yeah, no, that was when he was doing his push slash the his Guinness Book of Records book launch last August, selling his $100 million money models, and he was doing. I loved it. It's so great when you're doing phone support and businesses are calling in to say, "Hey, I got a problem with not enough business," and he's like, "Well, how many clients are in your local area?" And it's like, "Well, there's 40 people who live in my village." That's the problem. You don't have enough people to support you. That's why you're
Well,
right.
exactly, exactly. How do yes, you might be off, you might be lucky, you might be off a highway, maybe you could take some advantage of that, but majority of them is usually like a back road, and it's like, well, you've got to either become like so well known that people will go out of their way to come to you. And that is actually a solution because you'll have people where they keep showing up and people will be like, I want to go try this place out. And they will then go out of their way to go there. And you never know where your potential audience or clients are. But if you're in one little place and you're just going, okay, I want to build 1 million, but I only have in my village 100 people, that's going to be a lot more difficult, right? So it's kind of looking at the strategy of how do you find everyone that you can. And it is like having digital content, having commercials, having the platform that people can find you on and showing up consistent does build that trust as well. And trust isn't built overnight, not anymore, right? Where we're seeing so much AI, like even like with these commercials where that one's going to promise you 1 million subs. I'm thinking that guy looks real, but I
Well,
don't
it wasn't just the million subs, it was the million views. And I was
know.
like,
Okay.
well, that's easy I'm gonna we're gonna talk about ads. It's
But is
easy
it,
to
but is it like, it's only easy if you got a bot farm, if
No,
you've
no,
got
no, 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 no. You
and pay
can you
ads?
can if you want to pay for ads, if you want to pay for ads, we're teaching you how to build your YouTube organically through building it to attract to make it look nice, be consistent with it. So YouTube's going to do this stuff and YouTube can organically do, which is build high authority backlinks, send high authority backlinks, your video links to Google search. You can do that without paid ads, but many people want lots of clients fast. So you can go run YouTube ads and say, "Hey, I want to increase my subscriber count," and you're gonna pay for YouTube to place your video ads in front of people. Your YouTube channel still has to, you can't force people to subscribe. So, but you're gonna pay YouTube to put your shorts, your video in front of more eyeballs. So you can pay that way. If it looks nice, maybe they'll do subscribe. It's the same thing with getting views because if you're paying YouTube to push your stuff in front of people, you get clicks on your videos, but if you're if I'm just saying, like you can get views. You can get views quick. Does not mean that subscribers, and does not mean that's watching. A view's a second or 2 seconds. Do we want instantaneous gratification? Do we want the ego metric of views, or do we want cash in your hand and in a business and slowly building that business, which requires an engaged audience who subscribes and follows you, and then build up the ROI, the return on investment streams we're teaching you, and we're going to teach you in our structured course, um, that you can build up before you get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch
And
hours.
you have to remember, and even when I go look at my analytics, I am at, I think it's 40 to between 40 and 50% of the people that are subscribed watch my stuff. It's another 50% that aren't subscribed. And I will hear this from a lot of YouTubers where it's showing like 40% or 60% of you that watch on a regular basis aren't even subscribed. So again, this is also your hidden audience. So it's like if you're only looking at subscribers or if you're only looking at one metric, and that deters you, you're not looking at the long game of how this is going to work. Like you don't know how many people might be watching you all the time and never subscribe, but will every time you go live, that's why YouTube will recommend it to them, or every time you post a video, the video posts up because there's probably people you follow that you may not have subscribed to and don't realize till you're like, what? I thought I was following this
Oh,
person, and you may
and I
never have
always go,
subscribed.
I'm like, my first thing when I'm like, if I see your content on YouTube, especially people not in this class, if I see something on YouTube that is like, I like that information, I instantly I'm gonna go subscribe because I'm like, hey, I got value out of that information, and I want to go
A lot of,
see.
but again, a lot of people won't do that,
Well,
right? So
I
that's
know eventually if they get enough value, they will. I know that for me, from my life's journey, I've always figured out this one thing. If you see something you like in a store, and you can financially afford it, you buy it because you're never guaranteed. I've been burned so many times where I'm like, hey, that looks cool. That's an amazing deal. And you're like, I don't need it. And then like a couple hours later, you're like, shit, I should have bought it. You go back, it's gone. Or you cannot find it again because the universe just put it there to taunt you that particular second. So it's the same with YouTube stuff because um I will find that there's a lot of we have, we have people signed up for our course starting April 6th. People not that weren't part of my audience before. And when I initially reviewed their things, I'm like, I know that when you set up your YouTube account and you named your business, you thought you picked a unique name. And there is literally 12 other YouTube channels called something similar. So in that instance, it's great. We got a little bit of work to do to build up your YouTube channel and outrank all of your competitors. Same thing with business, and this is why we're teaching YouTube University is um, how in your business or in your community, it depends what you're doing, because everybody's got a different business, and some are based locally, and like Julie and I were traveling a lot, building business all over the place. So if you go back to, let's say, a plumbing company, because I deal with a lot of plumbing companies, um, in your neck of the woods, in your town, your city, if you got a lot of competitors, how are you sticking out from the competition? Because if I go to Google Maps and look you up, how much competition do you have? And is your Google My Business listing gonna sway me to pick you versus somebody else? And that's part of the visibility engine that we're going to be teaching is that, hey, all these signals or backlinks on Google are super important. And if we're building content for YouTube, video content for YouTube, those videos should also be in Google My Business because how are you um, outshining your competition? Like, why should your neighbors choose you over the other, when we were physically not traveling and I was only operating outside of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, I run a tech company. I run a IT support company. I've got thousands of competitors. Day by day, people get laid off from corporates and they're like, "Hey, I can fix computers. I'm gonna fire." Like, there's probably 10,000, 20,000 IT repair companies in Calgary. I'm like, the only way I'm going to be able to differentiate myself from the rest, because the others may have tons of money for ads, they may have tons of money for fancy websites and all this stuff. How do I stick out? It's the YouTube. It's making sure when my ideal client goes and searches on Google for IT, whatever, that I at least show up and my Google My Business and my YouTube show up and there's just more content there. Doesn't mean they're gonna pick me, but at least gives me a fighting chance because that's, one way we interact with our customers. They find us and they're like, "Hey, does your website and your YouTube channel show confidence? Does it show consistency? Does it show a tailored experience and call to actions for your customers, right?" So I was going to bring this up because I know I've seen a lot of people posting on it's not directly to do with YouTube, but it is directly to do with YouTube. So because we're all using all these different social medias and not really a unified approach, and what we're teaching is installing this visibility engine where you're making content once on YouTube and repurposing it everywhere, rather than working backwards, where you're just focusing on Facebook or Instagram and not covering all the social medias. I, s- I meet a lot of people who are marketers, and no diss against marketers because they're marketing for themselves or teaching other people to market or running ads or whatever. But I don't believe they really have all their bases covered because they're like, we have a webinar or we have this product and we're going to show you how to get customers by spending ads. And all I see the last 2, 3 months are marketers on Facebook complaining about the ad system because it was changed. And of course, technology always changes. But when I go look up these marketers, the ones that are say, they're just all they're pushing is ads, 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 and then how broken the ads ecosystem is. When I go look at their YouTube, their webinar, their course is not even on YouTube. So they're really just doing this one channel approach where they've got an audience on Facebook and spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a month on ads to get people to show their ads to get their Facebook audience into their ecosystem, but they could easily be spending the same time and energy with a video a day on YouTube. It was just like it's funny. It's like, okay, you're
Well,
marketing
and then
yourself.
and from that video, like you're saying, like have it everywhere, right? Like so this is the thing we really want people to stop making things so small and narrow. Like we can't live in this little tiny box anymore, right? Like, you might have a bigger following in one area. You're not going to stop posting there. We're not telling you to stop showing up in all your social media. We want you to show up everywhere. Build it that when these authorities and these backlinks come back, that you show up. Your competitors drop off because they're not consistent. You show up because you are consistent. And then it is true, like people may not all view the same thing, and attention spans and days of posting may change. But when you're consistent, you're building up. Are you talking, Mike? I didn't.
Yeah, now I'm getting an error message from Zoom. You do not have permission to live stream.
There you go. That's why you couldn't live stream. You don't have
Maybe I'm
permission.
getting banned from the live stream. I'm just playing in the background. So I was like, wait a minute. I know something that's been bugging me this week is a bunch of people I know, I've met them personally, and it's like ads is broken, ads ecosystem is broken. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you should just be doubling down and at like making new YouTube videos and then advertising on the other if they're so
And,
obsessed
and
with
to be fair,
ads.
And to be fair, like at any moment, any of these systems can break down. Like we had people with that were really building things on TikTok, and now TikTok, the money has literally dwindled down to be very little, right? So if you literally only built in one area and that just goes bust, or just they change the algorithms or whatever, it works against you. Whereas this is kind of it's the idea of having like your three backups. You've got your content and you're getting it everywhere. You've got it over here, you've got it over there, you've got it over here. So, and you're not reliant on one, because I really want people to stop being reliant on the money that they're making from social media. Like, oh yeah, if you get money, awesome, wonderful. You made some money off of YouTube, or you made some money off of Facebook or TikTok. No one's going to complain about that, but that should not be your focus. The focus should be getting the people that you are going to be able to help, right? Because whatever service you're offering, whatever information you're offering, you want to find the people that are going to be your people and will support you doing those services. And yeah, if you make extra money on the side, wonderful. But we need to really go back, that I don't know how much of a reality that's going to be this content creator and be an influencer per se, and just be able to live off of your influencer money. Because there's a lot of people now coming out where they made big bucks, but because everything's changed on whichever platform, they've reduced the amount of money they're making, and now they were living like they made, 20,000 $20,000 a month, and now they're getting maybe if they're lucky, a couple thousand, right? Like that's a very dramatic change. And that was building that you built it all in one area. So it's the idea of, going that, it's like me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't necessarily want to use multiple AIs to accomplish one thing, one for this, one for that. However, you have to continue adapting as we go. Like I think that's the only way anybody's going to survive, is continuously adapting. But at least when you have your videos and you've got them on different platforms, one platform bites you in the butt or decides to banish you from it, or you just have issues, at least you've got your content somewhere
Oh,
else and in multiple places.
that's correct because when I was talking to this guy in Dallas, he was like, "Oh, I've had a whole bunch of stuff flagged on YouTube," and I'm like, "Oh, it's just copyright stuff. It's just because you play at all of your he's a stage speaker. So he's always recording himself like everybody should be doing if you're no matter if you're on doing a Zoom call with your peeps or you're on a stage, it should always be recorded just so you've got highlight footage if in case you're trying to book other gigs, you've got a recording of this particular speak or talk, whatever. I got another error message. I can't live stream. But
So give up, just give
he's always
up.
playing music. He's always playing music, and I was like, well, this is fine, except that this content's not going to be you're not gonna it's not gonna count towards your watch time. So I told him, I'm like, hey, there's many different ways to factor in the ROI on YouTube. So I'm like, just ignore the flags unless you're getting banned, unless you're getting flagged for some other reason other than copyrighted music. But on my copyrighted music, you're just not gonna get, it's just not gonna count towards your watch time. And when you get monetized, they're not gonna
Pokemon.
give you any pennies for that content because they're sending the money to the copyright holder. And that's just one of those mindset things you're gonna have to get.
And there's ways around it. Like if you're doing that, you can always cut out the music audio
Well,
and let that
that's
going on the whole time you're
that's a
talking.
thing, but I also said, I'm like, hey, if you're he runs a mastermind. He's got paid people in his mastermind. And I'm like, it doesn't mean YouTube has to be the only place for your stuff. I'm like, we're saying create, build your production checklists, get consistent, going live minimum one time a week with YouTube. That content, it needs to be repurposed and put on other platforms to build different audiences. And it's not just Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. There is Substack, there's Patreon, there's all these other video platforms. But if we don't build the muscle of consistency,
There's nothing to
you're
put.
not gonna you're not gonna realize, and if we're not talking about having multiple different audiences and different call to actions for audiences, and if you don't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, we will explain them in the paid course. It just we there's creators who are on other platforms, and I'm like, hey, these other platforms that it's great. You created a mastermind, you got paid people in it, you got your stuff over on Patreon or Rumble or Substack or another platform. I'm saying, hey, you're already making content, put it on YouTube. Just because of YouTube sending your video links to Google. We want to use each platform for the pros of each platform. Each platform is going to have negatives and cons. YouTube does not like all content. You can sometimes people get in trouble with you can't.
It's
Facebook
got a
doesn't
little
like
bit
you
more
telling.
censorship
Okay,
issues.
Facebook doesn't like you telling people how much money you make or get or to join your
Facebook
MLS.
doesn't like you putting links. You
So
know,
that's fine. This is why we just push. This is why we post on Facebook. We do not read Facebook. Because if you're gonna read Facebook, it's gonna piss you off and you're gonna get into a comment battle with people that don't have your same views. Post, I was always trained with social media, which is really hard. Post, never consume. Post, never consume. Post it, don't consume it, or it's gonna drive you crazy, and then you're gonna take that social media break, which is gonna kill your YouTube channel because I don't want you to get burned out.
and that's also the whole thing about doing the videos, right? Is just like getting that content out and then not immediately like if you have something go viral, wonderful, but do not have that is how you're going to rate success is by going via viral, or that you need 1,000 views. You could have a beautiful piece of a video or beautiful like content that looks really great, but again, once it's there, it doesn't disappear. And there's always techniques as well that you can have it go live. You can always repost it at a later time, because sometimes your content might be ahead of your audience being interested in it as well.
And
So
that's
there's a lot of things to it.
and that's why we're not worried about instant gratification. We just want to work on building that audience, building the consistency. Um, if you need instant gratification, tell me when you're going to go live, and I'll watch your stuff for you, and I'll make comments. I'll give you some feedback.
Well,
But
we're training you into this like reality of going back to the fact that anything worth doing is built on a stronger foundation. When you're consistent, you are going to get better and better at making your content as well. You're going to get more confident in front of the camera, and it just builds and builds and builds. And when you keep showing up, the algorithm gods will appease and be happy, like whether it goes in its back end of Google so you're searchable versus your competitors because your competitors aren't posting as regularly, or whether it is that you're finding those people that are your clients, or et cetera, because there's a lot of benefits to doing it. Now, David did ask if you can range out, especially if you're in a small town in YouTube, like on YouTube. I know in Facebook sometimes I'll see things for where we are locally because it always
oh
wants to know
yeah,
where you
you
are.
can. Well, you can do micro
I don't
target
know how much you can do that on YouTube.
for like micro targeting.
Yeah, I think that's basically what it is because I learned that earlier
Oh
from
no, that's just
something, but I
ads.
didn't know YouTube can do
You
that
can
too.
literally say, hey, anybody in this 5 mile radius sees all my stuff. That's just ads.
Oh, okay. That's only on
That's
ads.
how that is how okay. This is
I think David was asking more for actual content, not the ads. But yes, that would be the way you
no,
would
but that's what
target.
they're doing. That's literally what they're doing. If you see like
I know. No one's disagreeing with you,
no,
Mike.
I'm
I'm
just
just saying
saying
David was asking
every
if there's
okay,
any way
there
if
is
you're making content.
it's just micro targeting. It's saying, "Hey, I want people in this radius to see my stuff." And you could it's on Facebook it's called boosting. You're like, "Hey, I want anybody here to see this stuff." So,
Yes, yes. So, and one way I guess you could do that if you're not buying ads would be your hashtags, because you actually get a part when you start putting up your videos that you can start putting tags. So you can actually put locations on your video. So if you wanted to specifically, for your location, Hammond, and wanted to have that, you could have your location on your videos and put a hashtag, would be the workaround. After continuously doing it, I'm sure it would feed into the algorithms that Hammond, Illinois would be, your content if
Indiana,
somebody's looking for certain.
Indiana.
Sorry.
And
Sorry. They'll have eyes. The hills of eyes.
we're
Indiana.
next door.
But it would, because it would keep feeding it back to Google that you were there and that this is where you're posting the content from. And again, if you're only doing it on one video and then you disappear, it's not going to be very effective. So that's also the point of doing it regularly and then tagging and putting the location in. It would, if you're consistent on it, it's going to start showing up. So then when people are, oh, if they're just looking in that area, your content starts to show up because you've been tagging that area. Am I right, Mike?
Yeah, and I also say that I would just go and make sure you're in local groups because the more it's really Facebook promotes your stuff, um, the more frequency, right? And we don't like most social media platforms want frequency. They want to see multiple times per day, not like two, like 10, 15, 25 times per day before your stuff will get seen outside of your friends. They want frequent, they want you to hammer it, where a lot of people may not be mentally ready to do that. So that's why I'm like, it's just okay. I think I made progress with live stream. An hour into the 2 hours into the call. Okay. Anyway, so um, yes,
Yeah, thank you. I've seen where they put it on a map and then they just move things out. So
you can. I think that there's a couple things like on that Facebook stuff where you can schedule events and invite people. Like there's a lot of features in Facebook for promoting local stuff because that's what it was really designed for was to not necessarily push ads to courses. It was literally designed to make communities. That's why you've got groups. You can put schedule events and invite people. Like you can make groups and invite your friends, but then you can also invite other people. Like there's all these like Facebook is really designed for community building, but that it just depends on how again your production checklist for your content, how often are you promoting it, right? Because if you have a very small audience, you have to work really hard and frequent on you're going to get a one person here and a one person here and a one person here. You're just going to be dealing with single numbers. And then once you have like, I think my Facebook audience is like 6,000, right? So I know that when I post something, I just want to see who's responding. So my stuff's kind of all over the place because I literally want to trigger engagement because I've got this friends list that's waiting. I got thousands of people friend requests. I don't know who's marketers, who's really like I don't really I was like, okay, I'm about to delete somebody from my friends list and then I see that they comment on something. I'm like, wow, I had to post this particular type of content for you to get engaged because I'm assuming people don't see my stuff until I get a weird comment that, people I posted something yesterday about, the price. I posted something yesterday about being in Tennessee and somebody told me to move to USA and stay there. And I'm like, "Thank you, you friendly Canadian." So it's just, I'm like, "Okay, somebody's watching. Somebody is watching."
You're only successful if somebody's getting
I'm
butthurt.
only
I'm
successful
just gonna
with
say
I'm
that,
only
like, I'm gonna
successful
say
with
it as is. You're only successful if you're making people mad, and like,
that's a
I know that
that's a
sounds
whole
bad,
Facebook.
but
That's a whole you know what? Okay. I saw, I saw a post this week and it was like, okay, why would you even post that unless you're looking for engagement? So I made a comment. And then it was like back and forth. I don't post for engagement. And I'm like, yeah, but you're getting really upset with people commenting. So if you didn't post for that type of state, like, and there was F-bombs in it, I'm like, really? Like, nobody really needs to see that on Facebook. As and then I'm like, ugh, whatever. I'm just gonna make a comment saying I don't think you're looking at hobby. I don't think you're looking at this. Like, here's my view on this whole thing. Just somebody quitting doing something because, they're not getting traction with it. I was like, well, you don't have to air all this to the world, but you're looking for a comment, and I'm gonna call that out, and you're gonna call me out saying you're not looking for engagement. I'm like, that's the whole point of Facebook is, hey. I want somebody to like or comment on my stuff. I don't expect anybody, it's nice to get comments over on YouTube, but it's really just to build your authority because, hey, guess what? YouTube's not gonna delete you. You YouTube it just sits that YouTube stuff just sits there like the library at university, like the Encyclopedia Britannica is then your knowledge base in your head. If you're building out your videos, that's just sitting there on YouTube. It's not there to agitate anybody. You're not gonna get date unless as you build your audience, you should get likes, you should get comments, you should get subs, but it's not.
well, when you go live, that's when you'll have
Well,
more comments. Is when you go live, you will.
I
Uh,
but it's not like it's not necessarily like an instant reactionary piece because you're just building your authority over there and that will show up on I'm just saying your videos are gonna get ranked on Google. Your random Facebook posts are not.
no, and they disappear, and they disappear, and
And
you
and
can
and
be
Instagram
banned
deletes
because
your
you
stuff
hurt
after
somebody's
24.
feelings. So they've complained about you, and so then you can't be seen, or suddenly you're just not even have access to Facebook. So that is what we're saying
I,
about,
you know
like,
what?
just
And
simple
I
things.
guess a great thing. I don't think you can report. Can you report? You probably can. Can you report a YouTube video?
You Yes, you can. You can.
Okay.
I have reported somebody that put something as yoga, which was not yoga, that children could have come across and was super like
Was
I
was it
was
was, was it ever removed?
it was. I did hear back from YouTube, but I do not report
Okay.
things very rarely. I very rarely do I ever report things, but I did report it and I found a way to do it. You can,
Okay.
but most of the time it's only if it's like it was more on the adult content side as hidden under yoga, and I was like, oh, that's why they couldn't even see it, and the AI wouldn't know what this was because she wasn't showing anything, but it was bad. Anyways, that has happened. Lucy had a question about that she's doing 3 or 4 channels, and if
Okay.
it's too much content. Because it's somewhat of different audiences, and so she has like different amounts of subscribers on the different. I guess my only thing is having a lot of channels is not a bad thing. However, you're pulling yourself in a lot of directions and you don't want to wear yourself out. So it might be one to maybe
My
go
my
on one
goal is to focus.
channels is not a bad
It's
thing.
live on
You're
YouTube.
pulling yourself in a lot of directions and you don't want to wear yourself out. So exactly. It might be one to maybe
My goal is to focus.
channels is not a bad
It's
thing.
live on
I
YouTube.
like that I'm hearing myself, Mike.
Well, no, it's because it literally just went live.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Tech
go
is
ahead.
fun.
There you go. Yes. So share your story.
So one of the channels is a podcast that I co-host with somebody. So like that's easy. Like we just record the podcast. It's a little bit of editing. I add a background to us and then it goes up. And then the other is like I do somewhat I don't call myself techie, but it's like tech support and like building websites and like different things. And right now the focus is on like a lot of like how to like basically get yourself started and go high level. So it's like videos with that. And then the other one is like things in my CP life that just make sense, which is more like day in the life of things and everything. But the podcast is kind of cerebral palsy related too. They're on two separate channels, and they're slightly different, like slightly different audiences, but like it's not too much to do the content. The editing is what I find is taking time, but I think I might have figured that out yesterday, with some Descript templates that'll make it easier. Um, it's just like
Well, I
I
I
want to
think
drive everybody to everything, and I feel like it's
I
too
think what
much.
we've learned from the big YouTubers is nobody edits anything on YouTube, or they used to, and now they're just about going live all the time. So it really just it's just the workflow. So my focus was build one channel to 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours using my framework, and then build a second one, and then apply that across others just to make sure that I did have um, return on investment on them because I see a lot of dead accounts out there where somebody was going consistent 5, 6 years and then just they got married, they had another kid, or they had to go get a full-time job and they just dropped off the face of the earth. So that's my only concern. Like some but he was talking to this week, 3 channels. And he's like, it's like 500 subs on each channel. And he's like, what would you suggest I do? And it's like, well, he's like, my content's all over the place. And I told him, I'm like, just make different playlists. For him, I was like, hey, people are coming to you because you do websites. Everybody does websites. Let's see, everybody does websites. You do websites, you do this, you do this, you do like 6 different things. I'm like, just make a playlist for each one because they're just really spotlighting all the different aspects of your character, your soul, your life, and the customers that you're gonna get are going to appreciate all aspects of your life. So I said, hey, like, let's get one to the point where it's ranking on Google search, the videos are showing up. And then once you believe my framework works, and we do it for a year consistently, I was like, literally, go live because you've got 400 or 500 subs on one channel. I'm like, you could go live and stream multiple. I'm like, you could was like get one to the point where you like it and then apply that to the second one. But I'm like realistically with I started the chat without today with the broadcast software. Um, OBS or Restream or StreamYard or any of these should, if you pick a time to go live, you should like with the Restream, if today's not working, I'm on YouTube on one channel right now, but you can broadcast it to multiple channels. So typically when we go live, do this live with Restream, we're streaming this to more than 2 YouTube channels just to keep building the separate audiences. So it really, if you got a workflow you like, great. I just the number one thing I hear from podcasters, YouTubers, whatever, who've been making content for a really long time is that eventually that flame that they have internally, that flicker just goes out when it's just like something happens in their life, accident, whatever, medical issue, family issue, whatever, and they just completely stop. And I'm like, I don't want you, when life gets hard, I don't want you to stop. This is why I don't really suggest editing unless it has to be edited. Um, because if your time goes from, hey, I've got like 5, 10 hours a week to make this stuff, and drops down to 30 minutes, I want you to focus that 30 minutes on making sure you keep your YouTube traction live with a live stream. And then you can easily go into YouTube Studio and make shorts out of that live stream. And
Yeah.
what we've learned with Substack, because Julie's been playing with Substack a lot, if she live streams her YouTube to Substack, Substack's automatically generating 4 shorts with subtitles, with
And that's
captions.
the best return I've seen because before I live streamed just to YouTube and it would make me one. and it wasn't even as good. And then Substack's AI picks out whatever, and I'm like, these are all great shorts. So now like half of my shorts for the week are me downloading them from Substack and then reposting them on the different platforms from there. But I do still put them immediately on YouTube, and then I have a folder that then gets repurposed to all the other platforms at that point. So it is very interesting when you start playing around with them, because even Restream is now offering an option where it'll make up to 250 clips for you, but you can, but only in the first 30 minutes of you restreaming, and then you have to pay extra for it. And I'm like, okay, that's an interesting feature. But if you don't want to spend more, this is actually kind of a nice little loophole that I found with Substack that I didn't even know, and they're pretty nice. So I was like, oh, there's a big bonus. So this is part of it as well, is like playing around and seeing what will help you save time as well, right?
Yeah. And I could probably get it down to two channels, which would be easier
Yeah,
because like the ones that I
it just
co-host.
it's a consistent, like last week it was a chat with somebody who I may have posted an angry, or I may have posted something on Facebook about people not having production checklists and relying on the VA to like build their YouTube channels and that's, or build their social media, which is not really a strategy because the person building it for you really may, I'm like, if they don't have, if they don't have the experience of actually building YouTube and all this stuff to build an audience, then you're just paying them to post your stuff and there's not really any return on investment from it. So I was like, hey, what's your production checklist? He's like, I got like 4 shows per week. I'm like, what's your production checklist? He's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, what's all right, where's the stuff going and how are you engaging with your audience? It's like, oh, I just record it, send it off to them, and they're posting it everywhere. So I'm like, okay, let's go check to make sure it's being posted everywhere. So I'm like, I'm like, what are all your channels? And I went to check all the social medias. I'm like, I don't see anything posted in the last 2 weeks. He's like, well, that's why I'm gonna fire them. I'm like, you don't even know what's going on in your life.
Yeah, and that's what I find. I help people figure out that
Right. So I was like,
basically their lives.
this is why I just want to make sure that it's like I can, I understand delegation of stuff and whatever, but it's like trusting AI. I'm like, you're gonna start using it and you gotta verify what you're getting out is what you actually want to get out. That's why automation's great, but it's like you really I see I get some funny emails from people and I'm like, wow, they did not check their email newsletter automation because there's spelling mistakes all over the place. The links don't work, the pictures suck, et cetera, et cetera. I was like, okay, they've turned on something new and they've not actually done any quality assurance checking on
What
it.
was what was the term on that last email that I showed you? Because I was like, is this a rage bait because of that survey?
No, well,
Wasn't it red or what was it? Rock, something rock? What did they use that terminology that we've never
well,
heard
no, you got an email from a Canadian politician yesterday, and it's like,
Yes.
A, there's M dashes all throughout it, which I'm like instant flag for me that if there's an M dash, I'm like this has to be auto generated. And it was
Oh,
like,
I'm a big M dash user though.
well,
Like
I know, but the challenge
seriously.
is that YouTube, if it's in a script, if it's in a title or description, like YouTube instantly knows like all your stuff's AI generated, and they'll flag it.
Yeah.
So.
I have
And
to
I did
stop
have
using
problems
them.
making AI stuff with the
But
M dash.
I
So,
know that I've seen posts where people are like, hey, the M chat GPT is just bringing back proper English. I'm like, yes. However, it's an instant flag that it's like if you were to copy that, if you were to copy that title or description into into an AI detector, instant flag. So. I'm just where I tell people I'm like, hey, if you're gonna use AI to write stuff, great, use it. I go and just rechange it because even though I've cloned my
oh,
vid,
okay.
I've cloned my writing style, and I still have to go change little things because I don't like long paragraphs. I like
And in fairness, I do think anybody who writes those, like, this is one of the things I find annoying on Facebook. And if you're one of these people, I'm not attempting to insult you, but if I can't see essentially your whole post in like the little summary, I'm not gonna read it. And then you open it and it's literally a novel. I'm like, I don't think it's really, I don't think 99% of people are gonna read your novel. I just don't. Like I've already lost interest because
But
it's
that,
too long.
but that,
Maybe
that,
in the future.
that's
But I
that's the
wanted to
co-
say,
that's the content for the blog that would get indexed by YouTube by Google
and
search.
I get that, and there's a use for it, but I don't necessarily think it's Facebook, but that's just my personal
That
opinion.
could be a
But I
YouTube. That
wanted
could
to,
be a YouTube description. That could be a YouTube description if it fits
yes.
within the amount of allowed characters on
And you get a
YouTube.
lot of characters, so you could
So
definitely put a YouTube
And
there's,
Molly gets a lot of success from posts like that, but like I just can't.
but she's got a massive audience over
Yeah,
years, and you're not going to have that massive audience overnight. So and
I don't know. I do judge long posts. I'm like,
and,
I've already
and then
lost
and I'm gonna and I'm just gonna
interest.
say there's a lot of people who have VAs, and the whole purpose of the virtual assistants is to boost their engagements. They're paying for their
Yeah.
engagement to be boosted.
yeah,
So
And
yeah.
I
I am
wanted,
teaching you how to build it organically by leveraging YouTube, but the only way we can leverage YouTube is that consistency. So that's build up the consistency on the YouTube, learn how to repurpose it everywhere from YouTube as a starting point, and then work smarter, not harder, work more efficient, and you
so you
know,
keep showing up and that you're building your authority. But I want to read you the thing that you were like, this has got to be AI, was camouflaged pork barreling. I have never heard that term. Camouflaged pork barreling is how they described the situation. So I was like, is that a term that humans use? I guess
Yeah.
now. Camouflage pork barreling people. There you go.
there's local nuances and words and stuff like that. So, anyway,
We've been from Canada. I've never heard that before.
might be an Ontario term. I don't know.
It's definitely not an Ontario term.
I didn't even know where this Canadian politician is. So I was like,
I don't
okay.
either. I don't
But but but
either.
but, but when I read stuff, I'm like,
Unless it's like north.
I don't know. I'm just like I like throwing Ontario
I
under
do
the
they have a
bus and
lot of
stuff.
pork up north and that they're putting them in barrels and that was something from the thing, maybe, you know.
I don't know. It's just this thing. Stay consistent with YouTube. The Saturday classes, ask me anything. Ask me the questions. I will give you my summary. I'm gonna, if my goal is to make it. I've got the official invite to go to the executives meeting at YouTube head office in LA on Monday, but I'm trying to we're trying to get ourselves to the East Coast so I can fly there because we're gonna get back to Canada. So I will keep you posted on how
That goes.
the
But
meeting with the YouTube executives go because
Mhm.
there's a bunch of changes there's a bunch of we missed the meeting yesterday, so I don't even know. I'm not even prepared for me to fly into LA on Sunday and go spend all day at headquarters on Monday. I'm gonna be thrown off guard by anything that they teach me.
Well, it's that saying we make it anywhere, so don't
Oh,
even.
hey,
Anyways, so do make sure you register. I know Austin had made a comment about the times. The Wednesdays is going to be, or the first, it's going to be at around like 1 in the afternoon, and then the next day, the Thursday, the second is going to be in the evening. So we're going to run it two different times.
if you
So
sign up for the webinar, we're
you'll
gonna
get
email you information about the webinar.
yes,
Because I
yeah.
still have to record it, and I think I was going to record it today, and I don't know if we're going to record it this morning. So,
I'm saying we might have to be. It might be a joke on you that we have to go live on it, which is what I said
well,
we
no,
were gonna.
that's fine because we've been recording bit videos for Facebook and LinkedIn promotion anyway about why we made this visibility engine,
And then
and
it's legitimately you just fill out that form and then you'll be on our email list and then you'll get all the details for it. So,
exactly, and then we're just like, there's why we built it. And just the components, and the components are what we literally we're just discussing in this class of just the consistency in building up that production checklist so that way you have, because things come up, and I wanted to make sure that you know how to successfully pump out content because There's so many different ways to do it, but all the tools are in YouTube Studio. So we're gonna walk you through, hey, here's how you make your shorts out of your longs and all the, you need hands-on. I know you need hands-on.
Well, and to make it as simple as possible so you are consistent as possible, right? And that is what will pay off in helping you build your brand, your business, essentially so you can be seen with, you know, like I said, it's easier to
I'm looking forward to people to ask for channel audits because I'm gonna what I do private one-on-ones with people and I'm like, are you ready for it? They're like, yes, I'm ready for it. I'm like, okay. And we just go through the channel and I'm like, make the fonts bigger. There's no call to action. Where's all your links to your books? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? And I'm like, okay, is that too much? Or because we want to make sure that week by week we're just tweaking stuff so that way and this when people show up to your YouTube, no matter what size, mobile device or 100-inch TV in the man cave, they know exactly you're guiding them through your journey on your YouTube. It's like, hey, subscribe, sign up to the mailing list. Like boom, boom, boom. Watch this video first, watch this video second, watch this video third. Like we gotta tell your audience exactly what to do.
and then it's there forever and it's just repeating and
Like,
repeating.
tell them what to do, why they should trust you, and here is my life, and here's my products and services. And when that light bulb goes off, and you're like, okay, I literally it's like being married. I want you to do this way, this way. This is exactly what YouTube's built for. Exactly.
To be
But
married,
YouTube's not going to teach you any of
right?
this
That
stuff.
means you have to follow the rules.
That's why you gotta reinforce the instructions. Like and subscribe. Like, subscribe, sign up for my email.
Put the dishes away. Put the dishes away. Hey, you
Stack those plates by size and color.
okay? I do not make you sort them by color.
But
Thank
some
God.
people, it's
Thank
like that. Some people, it's like that. Right? So I'm just like, people need precise instructions, and that's what we can do with YouTube. You can't do that with like yeah, this is what we can do with YouTube, and it's free. And when you start learning the little tweaks that you can do to just optimize that channel, you're like, hey, I got book sales. Hey, I got 5 new subscribers on my mailing list. Hey, I went from 50 to 100. I just made these little tweaks. I got more subs. Oh, we doubled our watch time this week. I'm like, yes, because you're telling people exactly what to do when they land. Like, really, YouTube is like your website. It's just a different form, right? So we want your website pointing to YouTube. We want YouTube pointing to your website. We want all these backlinks working so that way when there's traffic, um,
Yeah.
you're
And YouTube's more
maximizing.
interactive than most people's websites because the idea is that they're seeing you, right? It's building that authority in a time where people are like the trust is low and you're building trust. And this is going to be the best way to build trust in any business at this point is showing up on a regular basis because that's also how you're going to build trust because they're going to see you consistently show up and they're going to be okay, this person's not full of BS. This person keeps showing up. They keep telling me the same thing. And especially those that don't necessarily even like your content or don't agree with you, they'll probably be your best customers in the end.
The trolls.
Sorry?
So the trolls. No.
Yeah, the trolls. When you convert your trolls, you know
Yeah,
you've won.
okay. One of my business coaches always said this. It's like I send you an email every single day or multiple times per day, and guess what? I know you unsubscribe, and then 6 months later, after you've unsubscribed and you haven't heard from me, you resubscribe because you're like, I'm ready to re-listen to the messaging. And I actually funny story, I ran into this yesterday. I had a conversation with somebody, and they're like, I'm ready. I'm ready. We've known each other for like 4 years and blah 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 blah. And they're like, can you resend me the emails? And then I realize they blocked me and they unsubscribed and blocked my domain. And I was like, so something I said, so something in my newsletter at some point in the past you didn't like, and you blocked and unsubscribed. So I literally re-forwarded them the email blast from my personal email address. I'm saying like, hey, here's what I discovered on the back end system. So, just go sign up for just let me know if you have any questions. We had a really good conversation, and maybe you're ready for this now, right? So it just happens. People will unsubscribe, they don't like your messaging, and then they come back because they're ready for the lessons that you're teaching them.
Hmm. Well, I'm just gonna say, okay, I just saw a pop-up and I have to make this comment because this does remind me of the little video, that like 4-minute video we watched about YouTube watch hours being different and about being on a trend and stuff like that. Trends kill. Here's how it kills. I have to read you this. Half naked tweaking Texas spring breaker hurtled from Jeep in viral video has died. You know what? Doing viral videos kills. I'm just saying. You know what? Be consistent in your own home and share your knowledge. You don't need to tweak on a Jeep to get
Was
views.
it tweaking or twerking?
Whatever, tweaking, twerking, maybe they're tweaking and twerking. I haven't had any coffee today.
No, that's
Like no sleep.
that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with as you build I'm like
It is sad. I'll say it's sad, but I like
I wouldn't
no.
worry.
Let's find real view.
I wouldn't worry about virality because it's literally once you have an audience and you built up that audience, the only way things are going to go viral is if people are sharing it. And it's really going to be you doing something stupid, hurting yourself, or you're half naked.
Or you're making somebody mad.
And
Or like that's really
and I know that there's like there's YouTube courses saying, hey, just use this hook and just like write your scripts this way. And I'm like, yes, it's going viral might be a template, but you still have to have an audience in order for, those things to, and there needs to be people seeing your stuff. Like, I don't believe with a small audience and you posting shorts, one video is going to go viral, even with a template. You've got to have at least a couple. There must be at least a decent sized audience of just under 1,000 in order for that to be pushed. And
well,
it's
really.
still going to be, I'm just saying, pain sells.
Well, YouTube will, because if it does take off, let's say you did get something and it takes off in the first like 5 minutes it's been posted, that will push it more and more and more. But again, it's going to be something that we want you to build content that is evergreen. That's going to be content that you're still going to be proud of. You're not going to cringe that that was what I went viral for, was something ridiculous, right?
Well, and
Like
remember,
you product, or it doesn't inform somebody or add value to their life. If you get some views from that and you come up with a great concept that gets viral, wonderful. But we really want you to make and sell and share what you can add value to and how you can help other people. And that's what this is about.
yeah, just
And I think Mike's ready
consistency.
for bed.
Just consistency. I'm like, whatever. You can follow trends. You can do whatever you want. I just know eventually people get burnt out and they just quit. And that is the opposite of what I'm training is I'm not training anybody on doing actions that are going to cause you to quit because I've already had all those conversations with podcasters out there. Like I literally, when I'm talking to people one on one, I'm like, look, I talked to this, here's a client, here's all the people I've been consulting with, and look at their views. Million subs, 30 views on the videos, 500,000 subs, 500 views. I'm like, those are not that audience is an gamed audience. That audience is not a authentic, engaged audience. We want to build an engaged audience. I'm like, I don't. I can show you on the back end who's monetized and who's not, and you'd be surprised at accounts with tons of like 500,000, 1 million subscribers. They might be monetized via selling their course. They might be making money selling a course, selling a book, whatever. They're not getting any share of that YouTube AdSense revenue. I showed Julie when she's showing me accounts in Canada. And she's like, well, is this person monetized? I'm like, yes, this person's monetized, but you can tell based on the fact that they have millions of views at the bottom of the YouTube, where it's like millions of, when it says millions and they have it's a relatively smallish audience. I'm like, okay, that person's monetized. It's like 1 grand a month. This other person is like a couple $100 a month, right? And then the accounts with 1 million subscribers and low views, I'm like, they're not monetized. They're just a influencer. But
Austin has a question
yeah.
as we're going long, but
Well, I know because now I'm ready for coffee. I haven't had coffee yet. That's why I'm slow.
no, you're warming up the brain, getting the cogs working. Okay, so Austin's asking, building our website, we have testimonials that are going to make a playlist. Is there a link created for the playlist that can go to our website to put it on our website? So I know that we've done it before where I can have the videos that are on YouTube back onto my website, right? So then the links will,
Every YouTube playlist has a URL.
yes. So you should be able to integrate that in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I know with your website, what the website designer was saying, we're just going to we don't want the WordPress to be slow with embedding the videos there, so we're just gonna put players in it with the links to all the testimonials on YouTube should be in a playlist because then this is how we're crafting the audience journey because we'll be like, hey, here's this summit and here's this other summit and here's this other summit and here is our test. So we're just documenting your journey of your summits through time via playlists, right? So that way
and then
stuff's
those playlists also have their own links.
yeah, yeah.
So that you can put those on.
Just so it's organized. So when somebody comes, it's just like playlist. Like I like going to somebody's channel and I will go through all the tab. For me, just because I want to see how consistent they are, I go through all the tabs. But I'm really at the end of it just going through. I'm like, okay, what's it like? Is this stuff organized? Is this in playlist? Because I know when I land on channels and it's all over the place, I'm like, I don't think anybody's just gonna randomly click on videos and and be engaged watching this stuff unless I have nothing better to do and that's all they do is consume YouTube videos all day. People want like this customized journey and it's like, oh hey, I'll watch.
There is also when we're helping you set up, there is ways to link it back so then you kind of get them stuck into your stream of
Yeah,
all your videos, right? So you've got
that's correct. What we want to do is that yes, you can link all your videos together so that way when people start watching one, it just
they're
prompts them
like
the
in
next
your
one and the
trap,
next one
and
and
then
then the
go
next
watch
one
the
and
next one.
you want YouTube to be recommending stuff your videos rather than other people's and YouTube will recommend other content based on your content. So this is why we kind of want this never ending this is why we want consistency and a lot of stuff on your YouTube channel because we want this never-ending journey where they get stuck in the doom scroll of your channel. Because that is gonna just that's gonna easiest way to get watch time other than going live same time every same time same day every week is building your own doom scroll in your YouTube channel where, you know, if people know, like, and trust you, or you're, especially in Austin's instance, looking for sponsors, is like, hey, here's the past stuff we've done, and here's if you can highlight the sponsors, you're like, hey, these people already know, like, and trust us that they've sponsored, and when you're, you know, built, if you're going for higher ticket sponsors, and you're like, hey, here's all your ascension ladder. Here's the low, the medium, the high. You can say, hey, here's where our sponsors are, but we're looking for the big kahuna sponsor. And here's how we're going to highlight you. And this is how you're really building that return on investment is you're like, hey, here's what we got, and here's where we want you to be. So let's work it out. And here's how many times we're gonna announce your name during the broadcast. And if you end up, okay, dogs have to go out. Anyway, I was gonna say, I was like, it'd be nice to do like a lower third where you can like highlight your sponsors during the broadcast, but I know we'll get to that point with Mr. Ravlik in Austin as we're designing the live stream broadcast in April. So
Yes, Austin, there is individual. I've used them many times, the individual links for the uh the playlists, and I've done that many times. Like each, actually on my app that I'm building, I have one part where there's a playlist which is a specific class that I made that's in there, and then I have a playlist of my meditations that's separately in there, and then I have a playlist, and the only way I could do it is that when you go out of the playlist, there's actually a way you can get the link, and it goes directly to it. So it's another feature. So again, when you come to our webinar, you guys have seen that. I will share it one more oh, did I lose my webinar screen? I don't even know where it went. It disappeared on me. Join it. So just click on that button so you can learn a little bit more about it. And then if you join us, we will help you go through all of those things. We will help you, answer those type of questions, help you find them if you need to have them found. So that's what we want to do, is just give you guys all these tips to make this easier and help you have a plan in place going forward. I am attempting to find that one more time because it I thought I put in the website here. I lost it.
I share it all the time when somebody wants a copy of my book or access to one of my videos, I literally will send them the link to the playlist and I'll send them a link to an individual video just so I'm programming them to understand that there's videos and there's the playlists. Because if they click on the playlist, we'll see that the playlist has its own
Oh, there. It clicked the webinar pop-up popped up this time. So obviously I haven't opened it on this browser, so you can sign up there or right there or right there. So you've got some buttons.
Okay, well, dogs are making noise, so I gotta go take them out. Any last questions there?
No, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. No, playlists all have their own URLs, so this is it's nice. It's nice. It's I'm gonna stop talking because I'm just having nothing else to say.
having technical difficulties and you need some
It was
coffee.
the YouTube the lot. I just want the. I'm gonna have to upload the recording, but at least we hit record today. But it did go live eventually to one YouTube channel, so the link to Restream didn't work. But if I clicked on YouTube, it asked me for my YouTube to sign into YouTube. So there's something going on with custom. So we'll have to verify. We have it straightened out for Julie's live stream tomorrow. But that's what we do as we're in the webinar in the 2 month course we're starting April 6th. I'm really teaching you to build that production checklist and have somebody like me as your production manager on the back end where when you go live, like we know things are working, and if you're constantly running into tech issues, we're like, hey, okay, an hour before we go live, we're gonna go check all the connections and make sure everything's working, sound check, lighting check, all that stuff, because as
You
your
might have
audience
to go more than
grows.
an hour before, since today was a perfect example. Maybe you have to
And
check.
or have a backup plan. If your stream's not gonna work, you'd be like, hey, like Restream didn't work, but I guess I could have just turned on one single YouTube channel at the start and not really worried about Facebook and LinkedIn and all the other connections, right? So it's just managing my expectations rather than clicking for an hour on custom live stream. I could have just chose YouTube and said, hey, and then gone on Facebook and shared the YouTube live, right? So it is what it is. I'll add that to my checklist.
More to the checklist.
Anyway,
Hey, everybody,
thank
we're
you
gonna
so
go.
much for showing up today.
He is losing it. He needs to go for a walk. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Have a great week. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
next week.
Same time, same place next week. Bye.